What is going on, world? Thank you for vibing with me on this Tuesday. I know everybody's under the weather, but hey, we're here. We're here. We're keeping it strong. Welcome to another Week 12 edition of 100 Yards of Running. I am your host, Reggie Walker. Unfortunately, sometimes I do this by myself, sometimes I don't. Today, I'm doing it dolo, so let's dive into these games right now. Thursday night, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers going against the Cleveland Browns, where it was a shocker. It was a snowy day in Cleveland. Pittsburgh thought they was going to go in there and get the win. Cleveland, with that team that they have, said otherwise. The Cleveland Browns defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 24-19. To me, Pittsburgh is fighting for a playoff push. Mike Tomlin doesn't know who he's going to start in the playoffs between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Cleveland is trying to look for their identity. The Deshaun Watson debacle going on over there. They got a secondary quarterback that's trying to get them back into the fold. Unfortunately, with these weeks going by, it's too late for the Cleveland Browns to do anything right now. Sunday, moving on. After a heartbreaker, and this is breaking news in MetLife Stadium, after the defeat of the Carolina Panthers last week, the New York Giants decided to part ways with Daniel Jones. He didn't play this week. They started backup quarterback Tommy DeVito after releasing him, and they played the Buccaneers, where the Giants haven't won a home game all season long. They are 2-9. They just lost to Tampa Bay. They are, and I'm gonna put it in the words of one of their good receivers, Malik Neighbors. The Giants are playing soft. The Giants are playing like they are trash, and they are. This season, they can't find the identity. I think it was a great idea to let Daniel Jones go. I didn't think it was a good idea to keep him this long, and you're losing too many games and expect him to pick up the pieces. It's not going to happen. With that being said, Giants fans this year, and I hope this year they draft a quarterback because it's much needed. And it's not going to be Tommy DeVito in the future because I don't think he's going to win any more games going down the stretch. Not with that roster, not with the schedule the Giants got coming up. It's going to be tough. Kansas City playing the Carolina Panthers, where Kansas City suffered their first loss last week, and I was shocked at this game. I was sitting here at the edge of my seat trying to get myself back on track before being under the weather. Paying attention to this game, Carolina kept it close to Kansas City, but Kansas City pulled it out, winning by 3 with the score of 30-27, where Patrick Mahomes, with the last couple of seconds on the clock, scrambling down the field, doing what Patrick Mahomes does, running to get the extra yardage, running to get the first down, and then some, putting the Chiefs in a position to win and hold on to that first place spot in the AFC. Moving on. Cowboys, Commanders. Dallas finally decided to win this game, and I was shocked because I thought the Commanders was going to actually pull this one off. But backup quarterback Cooper Rush did what he was supposed to do. That Giants special teams did what they supposed to do. Not Giants. I'm here to talk about the Giants. The Cowboys special teams did what they supposed to do, and they ran the ball into the end zone for a touchdown, beating Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders by a score of 34-26. Is Washington a playoff team? Yes. How far can they get in the playoffs is to be determined. Because you got teams like Green Bay, you have teams like Philly, who we'll be talking about during the show, that's coming up, and you can't forget about the Detroit Lions. They're 10-1 right now. They're holding that NFC first place spot, and they're getting the job done. Moving on, we had the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, The question going into this game was, can Tua keep that hot streak going home against a New England Patriots team that is looking for that identity? And Tua is 7-1 against this team, and he's proven himself that he can still go. And the Dolphins did pull up the upset, beating the Patriots by the score of 34-15. I need DeVito to win on Thursday. I mean, hey Eric, everybody is saying that. I hope he gets the job done. We got the Cowboys on Thursday, so I hope everybody's Thanksgiving is going to be great with that game. I'm going to dive into that game as we move along, but these stats right here, man. Tua going in there doing what he was supposed to have done. The man threw 4 touchdowns. Everybody was like, "Oh, Tua is always getting concussions. Can he still go after getting concussion?" They keep going to concussion protocol. I mean, Tua went in there and he threw 4 touchdowns and he beat the Patriots. I mean, it is the Patriots. They're not the same anymore, but that was an impressive win to me by a quarterback like Tua, going in there throwing 4 touchdowns against a Patriots defense like that, who's ready to hit people, especially hit quarterbacks and put them on the shelf at the drop of a hat. Hey, shout out to Tua and the Dolphins. This was an upset to some, but not to me, because I said during the show, if my viewers who's watching, any given Sunday, any team can beat you. And the Tennessee Titans proved that when they went into Houston and they beat C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans by the score of 32-27. Here is my take on this game. C.J. Stroud, like I said, he's a great quarterback. He's a great kid. He puts God first. I respect him on that. But it's mistakes that you cannot make in the NFL, and C.J. Stroud made this week. You're in your own end zone, and you're trying to get your team out of the end zone, and you got these guys on the defensive, that front 7. What happened to Houston? I can tell you what happened to Houston. Injuries happened to the Houston Texans. Losing Nico Collins with the season started. Now you lose Stephon Diggs. Then you lose that to me. When they losing all their players, they lost their identity. They lost 2 straight and losing to the Tennessee Titans at home, where this should have been a win for the Houston Texans. I mean, I hope that this kid C.J. Stroud bounced back from this game, because getting sacked in your end zone recreated what Dan Orlovsky did when he got drafted to Detroit, which I will talk about Detroit soon. But this game right here, C.J. Stroud, here's my take on you. You are the future of this franchise. You are the future of the NFL. You want to compete in the Mount Rushmore with the Mahomes and the Josh Allens and the Jacksons and et cetera, et cetera. CJ, take your time, trust in your front line. If you do that, and when you get your players back and they healthy, you already got Joe Mixon running like he's third, I think, leading the league in rushing behind Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. That's an elite class to be in. But CJ Stroud, you're the future, kid. Take your time. Moving on to those Lions who destroyed the Colts, Anthony Richardson and the Colts, by a score of 24-6. Now, Jared Goff did not throw a single touchdown on this game. You know what won that game for the Detroit Lions? Their defense and their special teams. Them players, Dan Campbell, getting these guys together, getting those guys on, especially on the defense and special teams, to do what you did. And then you have Sonic and Knuckles, those running backs in the back, and Jamar Gibbs and whoever they got behind them, and Swift. Those boys can run, and Detroit is going to be dangerous come playoff time, and they might make it to the Super Bowl. Who they going to play in the NFC Championship game is to be determined, and we will see. But they got the job done, moving up to 10-1, beating the Colts. I mean, it is the Colts. Anthony Richardson, he's another one that has the talent, but it's in the wrong organization to me, because you got a lot of talented players the quarterbacks that played for the Colts. Like, let's see, Peyton Manning. Naming Peyton Manning. Then you had Andrew Luck, a kid that was supposed to have went in there and changed that franchise, and he wound up retiring because he couldn't handle it no more. Sad to see Andrew Luck go. He was another talented quarterback that Indianapolis had, and we're seeing that in Anthony Richardson. We're seeing this kid trying to develop, and he just needs the right coaching staff and the right talent to help him out. Moving on, we had the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears going 1-on-1 with the Vikings. This game could have went either way. The Vikings and the Colts. I just spoke about the Colts. You see where my head is at, ladies and gentlemen? Bear with me. The Vikings and the Bears. You had Sam Darnold going against the number 1 draft pick, Caleb Williams. Now, this game could have went either way. Caleb Williams was drafted to be the face of Chicago, and with that team, building a team around a quarterback like Caleb Williams. Next year, I see Chicago making it. This year, I don't see it. He just got his feet wet, and you might, if because it's still week 12, if Chicago makes that playoff run, it's going to be tough for them to do. Otherwise than that, the Vikings improved to 9-2. They are right there in the playoff hunt. But teams like Detroit and Green Bay and maybe Minnesota, we could see them being a dangerous threat in the NFC. Let's see. We had Sean Payton and Bo Nix going against the Raiders. Sean Payton is trying to recreate what he had in New Orleans when he had Drew Brees as his quarterback and all those great players that they had in New Orleans. But this is not New Orleans. He took it to Denver. He's got a great quarterback in Bo Nix, another talented quarterback who I paid attention to in last year's draft, who could make a difference. And look what Bo Nix is doing to Denver. Denver, you guys are fighting for the players. You guys are currently in the playoffs, and that's amazing to see. Let's see how far Sean Payton and Bo Nix can play right now, because right now, Bo Nix is showing that he could be in that MVP caliber conversation next year. And with a coach like Sean Payton, I don't see why not. I mean, that's just my opinion. If you guys got opinions, you're more than welcome to join me in the chats. I'm taking questions. We going over football. We could talk football. We got great Thanksgiving games coming up. We're going to talk about those too. Moving on to America's Game of the Week to everybody. And it wasn't to me, but it was to some. We had the 49ers and the Packers. The 49ers was hurt. They had injuries. And in the quarterback position, Brock Purdy was out this week. But you did have Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. But that wasn't enough for Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. And Josh Jacobs ran a number on you guys. And the Packers defeated the 49ers by a score of 38-10. Like I said, 49ers fans, last year, y'all was in the Super Bowl. This year, y'all trying to recreate what y'all did last year. It's not working. It didn't work since you sat out Brandon Ayuk last year. It took you time to sign Deebo. It took you time to get these players on the same page, and it's showing in your record. McCaffrey was out. He's coming back, trying to put the pieces together, and it's just not working. And to get blown out by Jordan Love and what the Packers did to y'all on Sunday was unacceptable. And I get that y'all trying to fight for that playoff spot. Everybody gets that. But y'all, this is a game that y'all should have won. And I want to see what Kyle Shanahan is going to do to bounce back from this game. But this week, y'all got blown out. And it wasn't y'all week. Moving on to the Cardinals and Seahawks. This was a position to me where these teams are going to fit in come playoff time. Seattle is up there fighting for that spot with San Francisco, with Green Bay, to make that playoff push, to see what they can do in the playoffs. And with the team that Seattle has with Geno Smith and DK Metcalf carrying those guys, excuse the background noise, but I'm going to keep going. Geno Smith and DK Metcalf, those guys did what they're supposed to do. Seattle went in there and got the job done at home, beating the Cardinals by a score of 16-6. I get it that it's tough to score touchdowns in the NFL and in college football, but to put up 2 field goals on any given Sunday on any team is unacceptable. Now we at an age of the NFL where it's points. Points got to be put up. You got teams like, and we seen it last night in last night's game, where I'm going to get to in a minute. We seen it and with Baltimore. We're seeing it in Philly. We're seeing it in Kansas City and Buffalo. If you cannot put up points against these elite teams, how can you expect to beat them? Moving on to the game of the night, Sunday Night Football. We had the Eagles. We had the Rams. We had Saquon. We had Jalen Hurts. And we had the Rams. We had Nakua on the Rams with Matthew Stafford. The Rams trying to find out who they are. What's the identity of the Rams? We don't know. The Eagles, on the other hand, I think, to me, and this is just my opinion, I think that Saquon Barkley, the way he's playing right now, should be an MVP candidate for that trophy. Saquon, and you heard it from me, a former Giant. And I get that we see it what Derrick Henry can do, but look at what Saquon Barkley is doing in Philadelphia. He is the difference maker. Jalen Hurts got help in the backfield. And once Devontae Smith and Brown is healthy, the Eagles are going to be dangerous in the playoffs. And we see that Sunday night. I get that they beat the Rams. I get that Matthew Stafford is still an elite quarterback in the game. And we're going to get to Matthew Stafford in a minute. But like I said, this game could have went either way. Unfortunately, the Eagles wanted it, and they proven that they are the Titans in the NFC East. Moving Washington now, since Washington been on a 2-game losing streak. Now Philadelphia is in first place in the NFC East with this win over the Rams. Well deserved? Yes. Well played? Yes. Will the Eagles be dangerous? To be determined. That's just my opinion. Last night, we had the Harbaugh brothers. We had Jim Harbaugh going against John Harbaugh. We had the Baltimore Ravens going against the Los Angeles Chargers in Inglewood, where I think Jim Harbaugh is 3-1 against his little brother or his older brother, I think. Look up those stats. I might be correct on this. But last night's game, we saw Lamar be Lamar. We see Derrick Henry be that monster that we wanting to see from Derrick Henry. Run the football. And that's exactly what Derrick Henry did last night. I feel bad for the Chargers because of the injuries that they had, and I get that they're in a new stadium and they're in Inglewood, California now, and Justin Herbert can't be that elite quarterback, but it's a curse. It's a give and a curse with the Chargers. 1 minute that they're hot, and the next minute they're not. Which moves me to a new session on my show, And I had this conversation with one of my boys, and I want to know in the comments what y'all think about this. Who is the greatest backup quarterback of all time?
Thank you.
You got a lot of backup quarterbacks, and what he said to me, it made a lot of sense. And I had to really think about this when he said it. And to me, he's right. The greatest backup quarterback, to me, right now, and you got to think of the backups that we had. We had a great backups. We had backups like Tyrod Taylor. We had backups like Jay Cutler. We had backups. I can name a few, but one stood out in particular when we had this conversation. The greatest backup quarterback, to me, of all time is no other than Ryan Fitzpatrick. And you have to, and I want y'all to think about why I said Ryan Fitzpatrick, because Ryan Fitzpatrick was that backup quarterback that went anywhere and could make a team a playoff team. He got you a couple of wins, and he was that good backup that got the job done. Look at what he did with the Jets. Look at what he did with Miami. Look at what he did in Buffalo. Ryan Fitzpatrick, and some call him Fitzmagic, some call him Beard. You can't miss that beard. But Ryan Fitzpatrick was one of the greatest backup quarterbacks to me of all time. My greatest backup quarterback of the week goes to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Which brings me to my favorite session of the week. My top quarterback of the week, my MVP of this week. I got to give it to him. Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. You got the player of the week. Even though y'all suffered your first loss last week to Buffalo, we get it. We get what Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes is. We get the magic between these two. We see it every time that they go on the field and perform in front of our very eyes. But Kansas City finds a way to get the job done every time. And that play where Mahomes used his legs instead of his arms to get his team down the field and to position his team to keep that spot and to beat the Titans in the AFC, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs gets the play of the week. My worst quarterback of the week, man, it could have went either way. I'm sorry, Giants fans, that I have to do this to y'all. And I'm sorry that it's not Daniel Jones this week. It's y'all backup. The worst quarterback of the week goes to Tommy DeVito. And I say this because all last year, everybody was praising this kid, doing, oh, Tommy DeVito, we trusted him, and DeVito we trust. And they even made a sandwich of this guy. Let's get the Tommy DeVito sandwich. Why? For him to go to MetLife Stadium and lose to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30-7? You put up 7 points? 7. And we supposed to trust this guy? Now, I get that he hasn't played in a while, and y'all got Dallas next week coming up, which is going to be a tough game for the Giants. And I want to ask the viewers, do y'all see Tommy DeVito beating the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day? Because if that happens, I will be shocked. But the way that defense and the special teams of Dallas just played on Sunday, and they beat Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, and they're going to MetLife Stadium, where the Giants haven't won a game all year, what more can you say? The proof is in the pie, ladies and gentlemen. The proof is in the pie. Hopefully I'm wrong. But Tommy DeVito, come on, bro. They made a sandwich of you, and you stinking up the stadium like that? Gotta give it to you. Sorry, Giants fans. Might hate me for my decision, but That's what it is. He didn't do anything to say otherwise. Now, my top 5 teams going into the playoffs every week. The list gets fluid, so bear with me. Bear with me. From the games that I've seen this week, here are my top 5 teams this week. Number 5, I have to give it to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Because beating up San Francisco, I get that they were injured. I get that they didn't have Brock Purdy playing. I get that Ayuk was out, but you did have Debo. You did have Christian McCaffrey. That quarterback, he played in the league before, so he know what it was like. But Jordan Love went in there with Josh Jacobs, and they ran all over y'all. So number 5 this week goes to the Green Bay Packers. My number 4 team, moving down from 2 to 4, they was number 1, but I'm putting them down to number 4 this week. Number 4 this week is the Detroit Lions, and here's why. Jared Goff, I keep telling you to be patient. I keep saying patience is a virtue. I keep saying trust in your line. Your defense going to carry you, but so far. I get that you just got Zadarius Smith. I get that y'all trying to get Aiden Hutchinson back, and I get that y'all got Dan Kemp with a great coach. But come playoff time, everybody saying last year was y'all year. What happened? Y'all got bumped by San Francisco 49ers. Can this year be your year? Who knows? We shall see. My number 3 team. Well, this is my team. I'm telling you, the list gets fluid every week. Shout out to, I'm telling you, Fitzpatrick was that backup quarterback that everybody wanted on their team, and he could get y'all a win. Trust me. Look it up. If I'm the Giants right now, why not? I would call Ryan Fitzpatrick right now. Maybe he could save y'all season next year. Who knows? My number 3 team going into my top 5 team, I got to give it to Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and those Philadelphia Eagles. What I'm seeing from Saquon is what we saw when he did in New York. New York let the wrong person walk out the door. And now they're trying to pick up the pieces and rebuild. And now it's kicking them in they behind. And now we're seeing Saquon Barkley be amazing. This amazing running back that we expected Saquon Barkley to be. I mean, it's not a shock to me, and it shouldn't be a shock to y'all. But the Eagles is number 3 on my list this week, which brings me to my top 2. Now, like I said, the list is fluid. Y'all can make your own list. I'm interested to see y'all list next week and who y'all got in y'all top 5. But this is my top 5 of the week. Number 2 on my top 5 list this week goes to Lamar Jackson and those Baltimore Ravens. Because what Lamar is doing, everybody's saying that he could be MVP this year. I see it happening. But here's my problem with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. They can't get over that Kansas City hump. That's why you bring in guys like Derrick Henry to back you guys up. You got Isaiah Likely. You got Zay Flowers in those backfield. And you got Roquan Smith and those guys in defense that can step up. But when y'all get to the big dance, is where y'all choke the most. And that's where Mahomes is this year's Tom Brady. And that's the question I want to ask my viewers who's watching. We have Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. To y'all, who is this generation's Tom Brady and Peyton Manning? I'm going to give you my picks right now. This year, to me, and it's me, and y'all entitled to y'all picks. This year, I see Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen recreating Brady and Manning. Why? Because of the talent that we're seeing from Josh Allen and the talent that we're seeing from Patrick Mahomes, which brings me to my number one team of the week, and it goes to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Because, let's face it, they got the team to three-peat this year. Everybody didn't think that they were going to three-peat. But when you go out and you get players like DeAndre Hopkins, and you have players like Travis Kelce, and you're getting players back, I get it that Pacheco is out, but he's coming back healthy. When you getting him back, and you got players like Juju Smith-Schuster, and you got a Noah Grant, and you got all these guys on your offense that can make it easy for Mahomes, just like the New England Patriots did with Tom Brady. Let's think about that now. Think about what I'm saying now. Now, who did Brady have? He had Rob Gronkowski. He had Wes Welker. He had Randy Moss. He had Julian Edelman. Look at Mahomes. Look at the comparisons that they have. Look at the players. Look at the coaches that they have. Look at Kansas City's coaching staff. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the greatest defensive-minded coaches that I've seen in the NFL. You got to give Spags his credit because he knows how to read an offense and tear into it. And most coaches that do that is special in my eyes. And that's why Andy Reid went out and got a guy like Steve Spagnuolo to bring him in Kansas City to do something like that this year. And mark my words, I might be wrong. Until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to keep saying this. The AFC and the Super Bowl and the MVP, it runs through number 15. It runs through Patrick Mahomes. Because until somebody knocks him off that pedestal in the playoffs, I see it happening again. Can it be Detroit? Maybe. But with Kansas City getting healthier and more dangerous and keep finding ways to win, it happened in New England with Brady, and we're seeing it again with Mahomes. I want to know what y'all think in the comments. Who is y'all generation's Brady and Mahomes? I'm interested to know what you guys have to say because this could be a great topic going down to the future. Because like I said, to me right now, it's Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you could put Lamar there. Some would put Lamar there. Some would put other quarterbacks there. But to me, some would put even Burrow there. Burrow went to one Super Bowl and failed. Mahomes went to how many Super Bowls and won? And it could possibly be another one down his belt. Who knows? He could be on Brady's level. I don't know. I'm just calling it like I see it. Fans, Thanksgiving Day. I know y'all excited about these games. I know y'all are. I just want to say I hope you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving because I know I will. Please be safe. If you're traveling, travel safe. But if you are not, and you're going to eat some good old-fashioned food and you're going to get your drink on and you want to sit there and watch some good old-fashioned football, Thanksgiving Day is to do it. We got the Lions taking on the Bears. Lions and Tigers and turkeys and bears and drinks. Oh, my. Who's going to win this game? Caleb Williams going in Detroit, taking on those 10-1 Lions. Let's see. Most of you guys, and I mean most of you guys, are going to be watching this game. I know I am. Thursday, 4:30. I know you probably going to get your first plate going on. You're probably going to be hungover watching Detroit beat the hell out of Chicago. I might be wrong, but you are going to turn the channel to Fox, and we are going to watch the New York Football Giants take on the Dallas Cowboys. We are going to see Cooper Rush taking on Tommy DeVito. Who is going to win this game? And ladies and gentlemen, this game is in Dallas. Now, I said this last week. The Giants is a team that hasn't won a home game yet. But you know who hasn't won a home game yet along with them? You guessed it. Ding, ding, ding. Those Dallas Cowboys is right there with them. To not win a home game and to go into Dallas and you play the Giants at home on Thanksgiving. I want to see who the Giants are going to blame this time, because you can't blame Daniel Jones anymore. He's out the door. He's gone. Now we got Tommy DeVito. Who's going to back up Tommy DeVito? You got Drew Lock from Seattle, and he comes in there and throws the ball and hits the turf. His arm is not accurate. What are the Giants going to do? If I was New York Giants, and this just might be me, you want a quarterback? Get Deion Sanders on the phone. You want Shedeur Sanders. If you team up Shedeur Sanders and Malik Nabers, and you put Deion Sanders with that Giants corp and that Giants organization, knowing that Deion was a former member of the NFL and he did play for Dallas, this could be a spit in Dallas's face. And Jerry Jones, if you lose this game against the Giants, I don't know what ignorance is going to come out of your mouth next. I mean, each week it gets worse for you, Jerry, and I just don't get it. I mean, you beat Washington. Granted, you're not making the playoffs this year. You haven't won a home game. You didn't sign Derrick Henry. Baltimore is using him now, and look at them. They might be in the position to go to the Super Bowl if they get past Patrick Mahomes. Then, to end it off, Thursday, because you got 3 games on Thursday. You got the Packers and Jordan Love going against Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins. Man, these games on Thanksgiving is going to get interesting. And not just that. We got 3 games on Thanksgiving, and we got 1 game on Black Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I almost forgot the Black Friday game. So not only do we get 3 games on Thursday, we get 1 game on Black Friday. To my Prime members. And they're going to show this game eventually. Friday, we get the Chiefs and Raiders in Kansas City. Now, if this is not a great football week going into week 13, I don't know what is. We got 3 games on Thursday, 1 on Friday. My pick in this game, like I said, Mahomes is a Titan. Mahomes is going to go in there and do what Mahomes do. But every time the Chiefs and Raiders play against each other, it gets crazy, it gets hectic, it gets wild. I'm excited for this week, and I want to know in the comments about what you guys think about these games. I know some people is going to be rooting for the Giants on Thursday, but it's going to be sad to see what Dallas might do to them. Now, if they do pull it off and beat Dallas, that's amazing. Shout out to them. More breaking news. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Some people say this might be it for Aaron. I say he still doesn't have it in him. Aaron Rodgers still wants to come back next year and play for the New York Jets. The curse in New York, it just doesn't stop. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't stop. He wants to come in there. He wants to be that guy. You fire Robert Saleh. You let the GM go. The Jets organization is just terrible. They're looking for that great coach that can coach the Jets to be that great talented team that we know they can be in the future. But we just got to find out who that coach is. It stinks in New York. Both organizations need to get it together, find that right coach, find that right quarterback that's going to carry your team and give New York fans something finally to root for, like Buffalo is doing. Because let's face it, no other New York quarterback is moving more elite than Josh Allen right now. He's doing this with no top receivers running down the football field. Josh Allen is putting up numbers, ladies and gentlemen, and I love what I'm seeing from Josh Allen. So my fans, I want to thank you for tuning in, rocking with your boy. I appreciate the love, showing your support. Please tune in. My brothers, my brothers got a raffle coming up. To the viewers, keep tuning in to the Family Meeting Podcast. We got something special coming on for you guys. Tune in this Saturday. I know everybody's going to be hungover for War Games. Tune in over the barricade with my brother, Beast, and myself, and maybe Mel or Tori will probably chop it up with us to discuss what happened on War Games. Man, we got a lot coming in for y'all. Thank y'all tuning in for your boy. I'm your boy, Reg. Tune in next week as we cover these Thanksgiving games and more games coming down the NFL line. Week 13 is going to be amazing. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for rocking with your boy. I'm Reggie Walker. I'm out. Peace and love to y'all.